You might remember in years past, one thing I like doing every year is showing videos of missionaries that the offerings people give to our church go out to support around the world and in the States. So I've got one mission work in Togo, the West African country of Togo, tonight, and then in a few weeks we'll do one more mission work on the U.S.-Mexico border. So we're going to read from Isaiah 43, verses 18 and 19 tonight, and I want the thoughts of those verses to kind of cycle and echo through your mind as we talk about the amazing mission work that is going on in Togo that we have the honor of supporting. So let these verses inspire the way you think about the mission work we will hear about. And then whenever we learn of great mission work our church supports, at the end of the Bible study time tonight, I'll be asking, how can that mission work inspire us in our mission work here? So let those questions be percolating. Okay, here is Isaiah chapter 43, verses 18 through 19. This is what the Lord says. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland. So think about those two verses. What are your initial thoughts on those two verses? What did they mean? And what might they look like in the world today? What jumped out at you from those two verses? What do they mean to you then or now? Quick initial thoughts.
Don't dwell on the past.
Mm-hmm. Don't dwell on the past. Mm-hmm.
But God is going to do a great thing in the future.
God is doing a great thing in the future. It's going to be new. Uh-huh. It's going to be even better. Mm-hmm. I liked the connection between those verses and the prophesied mission of John the Baptist that we read this past Sunday and a few weeks ago when John the Baptist was born, how he was the voice of one calling in the desert, prepare the way for the Lord, make straight paths for him in the desert. Make a highway for your God. So I like that there was some connection to there. It kind of helps me connect back to Advent, back to what John the Baptist was doing before Jesus, to what we are supposed to be doing as well. If God is making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland, so we are called to be a part of that as well. So let's see some examples of that. Like I said, the focus videos, we've got about 3 or 4 videos that are 3 minutes long. We'll do 2 now and then think about them and then watch 2 more in a minute. Like I said, they are set in the country of Togo in West Africa at a medical clinic. And the clinic's name, I'll just say the name and then after that we'll only use the abbreviation because it's a long name in French. It is Mission Chrétienne pour le Développement Communautaire à Togo, which I assume means Christian Mission for the Community Development of Togo. We're going to call it MCDC. That's what we're going to call it. When the people of Togo speak in their native language, there's some captions. So for y'all in the back, I'm happy to read the captions, and I'll just read MCDC or the clinic, so I don't have to read the whole thing. So there's a cooperative Baptist missionary who runs the clinic that our offerings get to support. We will see her and listen to her. Her name is Karen Alford, and her clinic partners with a local church next to it, and the local church is led by Pastor Hammer. His name is Hammer, which is fantastic. So when you see the name Hammer, know that that is a local pastor. So before I show you 2 quick videos I have 2 quick questions for you. You can answer one of them or both. Do you believe that God wants to do new things in your life? And do you want God to do new things in you, which would definitely then change your life? Do you believe God wants to do new things in your life? And would you want God to do new things in your life?
Yes.
Yes for both? Okay.
More so than in days of youth.
Oh, really? More so now than in the former days? So in the past, you might not have believed God was doing new things, or you weren't interested in that? Is that what you mean?
Was reluctant to listen.
Oh, sure.
Well, it won't change, but don't mess with my family and my church and my cars.
That's right. God, do whatever you want. Just don't mess with this, my bank account, my house, the people I know, the family, where I live. Yes, that's right. Yes. You've got a lot of caveats. That's right. Or God, you can call me anywhere. Just not this state, that country, you know. Yeah. Well, I wanted to throw that out there because it's a challenge for me. Do I want God to do brand new things? Because if God does that in my life, then by definition, it's not something I was expecting. So I want those questions to challenge us. Okay, first we'll watch a brief overview video where we meet Karen, Alford, and Togo, and we see some other missionaries who are doing other mission work. And then we'll watch a video about a woman who went to the clinic. And I will read any closed captions. If you need it louder, give me or softer.
Working in the field, you start noticing that God is doing a new thing right now. I can see it in the US-Mexico border, but when I talk to fellow field personnel and other colleagues, God is doing a new thing. Not just in this border, but in other borders. Migration is something that has happened all throughout life. And you can see it in the Bible. Jesus was a migrant. Do you think that was not part of God's design? We have the benefit of God sending us the nations. We are losing a great opportunity for us not just to share the gospel, but to witness to Christ and be the presence of God in their lives.
God is inviting us to see the world the way He does, with infinite possibilities in ways that we haven't ever looked before, to feel in ways we haven't allowed ourselves to feel, to think in ways that we haven't allowed ourselves to think. I never would have thought that I would have ended up where I'm at now, taking care of people. That wasn't where I started. I started as a wildlife biologist. I've come to realize that unless we learn how to be good stewards of each other, that it's from there we are able to be good stewards of the land. I help people regain the use of the limbs that they thought would be amputated. I help people get their lives back again. That's the new thing.
I don't know who pointed them to us, but we love to help, to save lives. We want them to know Christ. We want them to be healthy. I believe this ministry has really opened the eyes of people.
It is a blessing that God brought to us. God can do anything at any time. He is powerful to provide when we are in need.
Eso para mí me hace acordar mucho a Moisés.
For me, that reminds me a lot of Moses, when God is trying to take his people out of their slavery to give them freedom. This gives each one of us that has a desire to go forward, that he will always be with us, protecting us, opening doors and paths to move forward. The impact we are making is reaching far beyond the physical things. in terms of job needs, employment, and health insurance. We are getting to the human part, and it's the support for people, not only in the United States, we're reaching out to other countries as well, so that they could have the hope of knowing that they are going to start a new life. It is a job that is individual, it is collective, it is of the church.
A church that understands that our love transcends nationalities, transcends race, transcends political affiliation. Love has to abound. Without the offering for global missions, there would not be migrants who would feel welcome. The path to the future of this nation goes through migration. And the path of the church goes through migration. God is doing something new with those that are coming.
He aquí que yo hago cosas nuevas.
Cosas nuevas, pronto saldrá la luz.
Do not perceive it.
Abriré camino,
Abriré camino
And streams in the wasteland.
stream de wisdom, y ríos en la soledad.
Right, you want me to read the closed captions, or is that annoying in a way? Yes, no? Doesn't matter. Just don't want it to be too. I was raised by my grandmother. It came to pass that she was sick, and we didn't have money to take her to the hospital. One day, I was invited to this church by a friend of mine. The pastor paid a visit to me and saw my grandmother paralyzed lying in the bed. Local Togolese pastor and MCDC's founder, Hammer, introduced Della and her family to nurses who showed unreserved care toward her grandmother. This inspired Della to become a midwife to assist others in need.
Dela, she's from the church, our local church, and she's young, she's incredibly bright. When I first came, she had only been there for a few months. She was just an assistant. She would hand us things, and we were teaching her, she was learning. Now, she's one of my best practitioners. She's got incredible promise to be anything she wants to be.
My life has been affected by being close to Karen. Karen always advises me and encourages me.
Good job. I'm teaching her what I know about examining patients. We're really hoping to send her to midwifery school, and then maybe she'll be the one that can help us open a birthing center and get that program started and be able to see.
I see people crying and after the treatment leave with joy and relief. It encourages and motivates me every day to come to be of service. When I become a midwife, I wish to come and share my knowledge with the workers here. I would like to work with this clinic in its development. God is going to do new things in my life. Unbelievable things. All right. So I really liked her quote there at the end. She said, God is going to do new things in my life, unbelievable things. Is that something that we could say, you could say? What do you think? Why would you say that, or why not? Is that something you would just say? Why or why not? God is going to do new things in my life, unbelievable things.
She's been getting that information for herself by help of others helping her with that situation. So I would say that it has a lot to do with not only God, but the people that respond to God.
So she's been helped by the missionary and the pastor there, been encouraged and taught and empowered, and I feel like that is us humans, us Christians' job, is to kind of empower people to make them ready for God to do unbelievable things in their life. We can kind of like prime the pump or till the soil, help people be ready to respond. But
And even if she was the only one reached by those people, those missionaries, it was all well worth it.
Yeah.
All that money or whatever it is they pay these people, she was just amazing.
Yeah. And then the way her life has changed in the work that she does will change other people's lives.
Sometimes I think because I'm in my 70s, I'm too old for God to work. But Moses was in his 80s. He parted the Red Sea.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the things God did through Moses.
Yeah.
And he was elder.
I'm glad you said that, Linda, because sometimes I give into that temptation. Like, once I've reached adulthood and it's just, over the hill and it's all downhill from here, nothing interesting, nothing exciting. You think the adventure of youth, is behind us. And yet that Isaiah verse said, no, forget the former things. There's going to be a new thing now, like in the future now.
Didn't we just have that happen to us? All of us in this room?
Go on.
Well,
Blood.
yeah. And new unbelievable things happen.
Yes. And I'm doing a lot of personal sharing tonight. I hate that I needed that kind of hard shaking to kind of shake the dust or the barnacles off of me to realize, God really can do brand new things through me and to us. I'm kind of a creature of habit. I kind of get in my pattern and my routine, and every day and every weekday, I kind of know what to expect. And you're right. As terrible as the hurricane is, it really did kind of shake us awake and say, look what we can do.
Isn't that the human nature to get into the routine and when it happens, it's shocking, but sometimes for the good.
Yeah. Usually our first reaction is we don't like it. Whatever it is. If there's anything that disrupts the schedule, the routine, we don't like it. But then after we settle down, we kind of look around, we can say, maybe there's some neat potential here. Maybe there's possibility of neat new work, something we can be a part of that's new, that's unexpected. But yeah, first reaction, Oh, always upset.
The question now is, what's the next new thing? What are we willing to be open to? What is gonna happen this year?
Yeah.
That is new that we can be a part of.
Yes, and I'm really glad you said that, Brad, because we need to hold on to that readiness of what's the next new thing, and to be ready to follow it or to take advantage of it, even if another hurricane doesn't hit. But to stay in that mode of readiness and always be ready to respond and step up and accept the new things that God offers. Because they will come. They are still coming, and they will come. They'll be presented. We don't know what they are because by definition they're new and surprising. But opportunities will present themselves this year, and hopefully we can be ready enough to notice it with our eyes and ready enough to respond to it with our hearts, even if there's not a natural disaster. Well, before we watch the next two videos, one about it's two patients at the clinic, a man and a woman. Before we watch those, I want you to think about a time when you wanted to get some things done, you wanted to do good things, but you were held back. Either you were held back because of a physical problem, or finances, or your schedule, an illness, whatever it was. You wanted to do something, you wanted to be active and do good, but you were held back. What was it like? How did it feel?
Are you asking for a time?
What's that?
I said, you want to hear a time?
You can't tell us the time and tell us what it was like.
Well, I have been approved by the Foreign Mission Board to go to Russia to be the administrator of a small school there and to take care of the finances of it and the book work. And I was getting ready for it, and this guy who's handling me was out of the World Trade Center, and he called me and he said, "Lindsay, don't go." And I said, "Why not?" I said, "I've got everything here prepared. I'm ready to go." And he said, "No." He said, "Don't." He said, "Just leave it at that." All right, fine. And it was just a few weeks before 9/11. And he knew something was coming. He knew something was building. And the bad part about it, his office was in one of the Trade Center towers across. And of course, I never heard from him again, never knew him more, he just dropped me. But I was disappointed and felt that I should have gone, but not in a situation like it was. He knew something was going to happen. Something was going to arrive, and they didn't want this international service corps, it's called. You can volunteer for so many months or so many years or whatever. But he knew there was trouble down the road, and he knew there was something coming that we didn't need to do.
Well, I'm glad that you were ready to serve with the Foreign Mission Board, ready to go overseas and do good work. And then don't you hate it when life gets in the way and you had this great plan, you want to do all these things, but then something ruins it, something gets in the way, it holds you back. Whether it's, I was talking to a plumber today who came over to look at stuff at the church, and he said, well, my family, my wife and kids have been planning this big vacation for months to go to Southern California this weekend, but now I don't think we can. So he was disappointed, his family was disappointed. I think at times when you've ever been just laid out in bed or injured and you really want to get up and take care of things for you or for your family, and you just can't do it, and how frustrating that is. And it's just like you feel stymied. You want to do it, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, and how frustrating that is. And we often take for granted the capabilities we have until we get injured, or we break something, or we pull something, and suddenly we realize how hard it is to get around in the world when you don't have all the capabilities that you used to have. Well, let's see what it was like for this gentleman. His name is Afro. What his condition was, how he had to go to great lengths to go to another country. He was from the country of Ghana, but he had to migrate and go to Togo to get help here at the clinic. And then we will meet Safako in the next video. After experiencing an accident-related injury, Afro could not find the help he needed. A talk with his brother, Hammer, a local Togolese pastor and founder of the MCDC clinic, encouraged Afro to travel from Ghana to Togo to receive medical attention. Little did he know, God was about to do something new in his life. I went to a big hospital. I stayed at this hospital for a couple of months, but there was no improvement. The doctor sent me back home. And then I decided to leave Ghana for Togo.
He has had a lot of hardship in his life, and he's had a lot of challenges that he was dealing with in Ghana. I've seen actually a lot of change in him. He used to be incredibly quiet and shy. Now I see him engaging with other patients, encouraging them. He is visiting them on his own time just to see how they're doing, raise their spirits.
I'm very close to Karen because she was the one I met first at the clinic. She took care of me. Sometimes she even comes to my house and takes me to the clinic.
He's feeling hopeful again. He's seen his wounds heal, and I think being close to family has been good for him too.
When I came to Hammer's clinic and I saw people's wounds, I forgot what happened to me. Because some people carry the wound for several years, but now they are feeling better. Karen is a good person, and the Spirit of God is leading her. God is going to do new things in my life. And I believe that very soon I will be totally recovered. Then I will go back to Ghana and tell people what God has done for me. Sefako is the youngest of 7 children. Her mother, a farmer, and father, a teacher, instilled in her the value of perseverance. After facing financial hardship, Sefako was not able to finish her studies to become an electrician, but is still determined to fulfill her dream. She met Karen at a pivotal time on her journey at MCDC.
Togo is a young woman who we met a couple of months ago. She'd gone to another medical clinic and received an injection in her hip, and it became severely infected. She had maybe like a 3-inch abscess in her hip. She's young, she's newly married, she wants to start a life, she's working hard, selling whatever she can at her stand, and she couldn't do it when she had this abscess. It was too painful, it was hard for her to walk, and she wasn't able to do it.
I did everything possible, but the wound remained the same. I spent a lot of money at the hospital, but nothing helped. A friend directed me to Hammer's clinic, and once I arrived, Karen told me after 3 treatment sessions my wound could be healed. I did not believe it. To my surprise, of course, after 3 treatment sessions, that wound has been healed. I noticed a great improvement in my body. I can move it as I want. When going to the clinic, my concern was not only that the wound would be healed, but that my entire body be healed. What I couldn't do before, I can do now.
She healed beautifully, and now she's back working again. We were fortunate that we were able to help her as quickly as we did.
After a training in electricity, my goal is to open a shop and sell electrical items. I'm selling porridge until I get the money. What seems impossible at the sight of human beings is possible to God. God has the final word, and it is going to do a new thing in my life. All right, what jumped out at you in those videos? I even watched them earlier today on the second viewing. I heard some things that were just really wonderful and sweet and beautiful and inspiring. So what jumped out? What did you notice in those 2 testimonies?
How upbeat and positive they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They don't whine and complain.
No. I'll speak for myself. I complain at the drop of a hat about anything and everything that goes wrong. If I stub my toe, I complain. If I have to put gas in my car, I complain. And yet, you're right. They don't complain, even in spite of all their challenges.
It shows how we could take our medical resources for granted.
Mm-hmm.
They are so grateful for healing of a simple wound with probably antibiotics and stuff that wouldn't be as big a problem here.
Yeah. But there it is. Like you heard her say, she couldn't work, she couldn't do her job, but Karen Alford said, oh, just come back 3 times and it'll heal up. And sure enough, it did. And then she was able to do things again. She said not just my wound was healed, but my body was healed. She could work. Yeah. It was wonderful to just think that, with our very expansive medical system here in the U.S. That has, specialists for every single thing and health insurance codes for every single procedure. This simple little clinic that they mostly help to heal people's wounds, 'cause. 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 ' their wounds are healed, and then their lives are changed. And Karen, the nurse, said, talking about Safako, what she couldn't do before, she can do now. And whenever they talked about wounds, I thought of us. You know, we might not have like an abscess or something, or a gash that got infected, but we still have wounds, whether physical or spiritual or emotional or mental. And so it makes me wonder, what kind of wounds are we carrying that we don't get treatment for, or we think, no, it's not going to heal up. What, 3 treatments, 3 sessions, and it's not going to happen. What's the use of trying to heal my wounds? And I wonder if, like the gentleman Afro, if we spend a long time trying to get our wounds taken care of to no avail, we remain injured, whether on the outside or the inside. Because he said he spent a long time in the hospital until he went to Togo and he found both Karen the nurse and Hammer the pastor. And then it was like he was healed on both the outside and the inside. And Karen said that once his physical wounds were healed, she could see a change in his spirit, in his persona. He was laughing again. He was helping other people. So I feel like there's definitely a connection, a lesson for us, for everybody, for the wounds that we carry. Like, how do you think Safako felt after her wounds were healed and she got back to work? How do you think Afro felt after he found the clinic and he could walk and get out in the world again?
He was inspired.
Yeah.
He was inspired to go back to Ghana and talk to other people.
Yeah.
People there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot that. He said at the very end, now that he's better, he wants to go back to his homeland in Ghana and tell the people what God has done for him. Yeah.
And Jesus said, when you do it to the least of these, you've done it to me.
That's right. So I don't know Karen Alford, the nurse, but I wonder if she thinks of that verse every day. Or whenever she reads that verse, she celebrates the honor that she has of treating Jesus every day. Because whatever care that we show to the least of these, Jesus said we're showing to him.
And in Jesus' ministry, almost inevitably, he took care of the physical needs first, before he took care of the spiritual needs.
Yeah.
Because if physical is not right, it's awful hard to be spiritual.
That's right. Yeah. If someone's been injured and they broke their leg, and you run up to them and you say, I'm here to help. Do you know about Jesus? Have you accepted him into your heart? They're not going to be very receptive. You know what I mean? And that was interesting how Karen Alford said that she had started off in like something like environmental science or like natural biology or something. Then she realized that like you have to help people first and meet their needs, so that then like the world gets helped later, something like that. Like that was the course. Yeah.
That reminds me of the devotional that Gary and I had this morning. It was called A Deaf Heart. But this girl, she was learning sign language. And she decided to learn it well enough that she could go into a setting with all deaf people and just think what their life was like. And it was so interesting that, you know, she learned to live like, or learn to do as they have to do. And she went on to say, you know, it's like, we don't know what a person in a wheelchair has to deal with every day. see and hear, is that, we can be debilitated with this neuroma on the bottom of our foot that we've got to have taken out, which is nothing. But when people are in wheelchairs and those sorts of debilitations, deaf, my mother-in-law was deaf, from late stage, but she just wanted me to sit and talk to her. And, I'm sure these people are so grateful to Karen for so many things.
Yeah, like Ray said, when Jesus would heal somebody, he would heal them like someone with leprosy. They'd have to stay outside the town because they weren't allowed in the town. So Jesus would heal them, and not only was their skin cleared up and healed, but then their spirit was restored because their connection to their family, to their community was restored. And that idea of restoration and wholeness is so much bigger than just, whatever the rash or the lesion or the broken whatever or the skin condition. That it's kind of like when in December when Regina was going over the words, the Bible words, how shalom for peace means more than just nobody's hitting each other. It means like a wholeness. It means a completeness. And so I think that's the kind of healing that Jesus gave in his miracles that Karen and Pastor Hammer give at the clinic. That it's a miracle, it's a gift of wholeness. Not just, here, let me put a Band-Aid and some Neosporin on now, off you go, walk it off. But it's by loving the whole person and not just trying to fix their injury. That heals them in such a deeper way and restores them in such a deeper way to community, to be able to work, to friends, to family. Really, really beautiful. I would think of that verse that Linda quoted from Matthew 25, when Jesus said, whatever you do this to the least of these, you done for me. I thought about that verse a lot after the hurricane, because Jesus said, whenever you saw someone was hungry, you gave them food. Whenever there was a stranger, you invited them in. When I was naked, you clothed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. And I was like, we're doing all those things. We're doing all those things right here. And it was so amazing to feel that privilege and honor to do those things for Jesus. And so I just thought, it's like Jesus just keeps coming into our fellowship hall. It's just nonstop. And our fellowship hall is just full of Jesus. Because he said, whenever you did any of those things to the least of these, you did it for me. And we were doing all those things to a lot of people.
Well, we're still doing that.
That's true, yeah.
I had 5 big families yesterday afternoon come to
Exactly.
the pantry.
Yeah.
And get lots of food.
Yeah, good.
And clothes.
Good. And isn't that an awesome thing to do? I mean, I'm always tempted, and I said this in a sermon a few weeks ago, my temptation is to just sit in my recliner and watch TV all day. That's my, Jonah had his whale, I have my recliner, and that's what my temptation is. But to get out and to be out and to give somebody food who's hungry, to give them some clothes when they're cold, or blankets, or diapers, or books for kids, it's just such a great feeling, because it's a great thing to do, because it's a Jesus thing to do. Yeah. And they're doing it every day at that clinic. So as we conclude, like I said, every time we learn about awesome missionaries doing wonderful work that we get to support, I always end by turning it back to us and asking, how can we let these missionaries and this mission work inspire us? So first, let's kind of backtrack. So let's learn from what Karen Alford and Pastor Hammer do. They meet the needs right there. So what are some of the needs in our community, and how can we meet those needs? Let's just start by just kind of quick, kind of popcorn shouting out some of the needs. Some of the needs obviously are different now than they were 1 year ago, but they're still needs. So what are some needs now in our community or county?
Heat right now.
Heat, big time. Yeah, big time heat. Mm-hmm.
Feed food for
Food.
people
Yep, absolutely.
don't have the money to get it.
Mm-hmm. Shelter. Yeah. Yeah.
Contributions to these health agencies that are trying to do the work. So often now we're criticizing government when some people are doing everything they can do to get the money in here to help these people, because everything seems to turn up on back of the dog.
Mm-hmm.
So, helping these companies and these people we're trying to support.
Yeah. Yeah, there are organizations and agencies that are really working hard and have been to help the people in our community. What are some of those organizations and agencies?
Samaritan's Purse.
Samaritan's Purse, ABCCM, mm-hmm. Yep.
Western Carolina Rescue.
The Rescue Mission downtown. Mm-hmm.
The school have people, when the children are at school and they see a problem, they're there to help that family, the whole family that starts with the child.
Yes, absolutely. And the schools, especially the guidance counselors or social workers, do that year round. But since the hurricane, schools have been stocking a food pantry, a supply closet, because some of their kids and their students lost things in the storm. Yeah.
A-Hope.
A-Hope, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Homeward Bound. You know, even before this recent hurricane, there were needs in our community and organizations working to meet those needs to help people get shelter, home, heat in the winter, clothes. Yeah.
I forget the name of the one that helps abused women.
The agency that helps abused women. Helpmate?
Yes.
Yes, Helpmate, yeah. The United Way Veterans Restoration Quarters, which is through ABCCM. Yeah. There's a lot of good places right around here that are already doing good work. So sometimes, you know, churches feel like they have to reinvent the wheel, or they want something good to happen, so they have to start at square one. But if other organizations are out doing good work, then we can partner with them and let the effort and the funds we give be multiplied even more, so that we don't have to start from scratch. Yeah. What are other ways that we can join in the new work that God is doing? What kind of new work do you think God might be doing in our area? New things. I mean, especially for us, where all of us, our whole region is coming out of this hurricane relief. So what's the super new work? Not just like normal times, new things, but this is right now in our faces, like we said. What's the kind of the new things God is doing now?
Church in the park.
Yeah, church in the park, that's a brand new thing. We're getting people there we've never seen before, don't come in. Yeah. The hike group that we started like a year ago, we're getting people that we see there that don't come in. Mm-hmm.
Helping or housing those that are coming to work in the area. I guess these new partnerships we're hopefully gonna have more of in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I say again, it's a shame that we needed a hurricane to show us what we could do. Nevertheless, we saw what we could do if we were ready to let God work. And so now, like Brad said, let's keep that readiness alive, so that the next new thing, like the disaster relief group that's going to come tomorrow, are awesome people doing incredible things, rebuilding houses, repairing some houses, starting from scratch other houses that were totally destroyed. That's like literal new work that is literally constructing homes on solid ground. And if we can be a part of that, if we can just give them shelter so that they can do that really necessary work in our area, then that's us fulfilling our calling. That's us doing our job. Not everyone is called to do every single thing. That would be ridiculous. There's one body and many different parts. And so let's make sure that as this year goes on, we think about what our part, what this part of the body of Christ can do as we get stronger. And maybe that's what the hurricane did for us. It helped us exercise our mission muscles in ways that we didn't think we were strong. It's kind of like if you don't use a muscle for a while, it atrophies and you get weak. Like if you get injured or you get sick, and then you kind of try and get back out and you go, oh, I can't lift as much as I used to, or I can't walk as far as I used to. Well, we can lose kind of mission muscle strength too. And the hurricane relief work that we got to be a part of was just a crash course in our mission muscles. So I don't want us to lose that strength and lose that momentum. Who knows what other new things we will get to do. But if we're not open to them, if we're not ready to them, then it doesn't matter. God is, like Isaiah said, like God is doing new things. That's what God does from the first day of creation, and God hasn't stopped. It's just a matter of will we participate? Will we be ready? And will we allow our lives to have new things done in them? And that's the tricky part. So I hope that you will take these stories home with you in your heart and see how specific, and in a way they're kind of small stories. Like Brad said, it's just these little wounds that we would kind of think nothing of. You just go to CVS, you get an ace bandage, you get some Neosporin, you're fine. But these little stories show lives changed that then change other lives. And that's the kingdom of God spreading right there. You know, once we start trying to solve problems like global poverty and healthcare and all those kinds of things, that's too abstract for us to address. But one person, one family who needs some food, we can do something about that. One person who needs a heater for the winter, we can do something about that. And when we do, the kingdom of God spreads just a little bit, and we got to be a part of that. So I hope you'll be on the lookout this week for the new things that God is doing, and that you will be ready to respond when the opportunity presents itself. So go in peace to love and serve the Lord, and we'll see you next week.